Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is.
Rye. Welcome to episode 35. Uh, so, uh, everyone is feeling pretty bummed out over their loss to Precious. Uh, so, Ui's dad tries cheering them up with a comedy act, which gets interrupted in the middle of it when Set wakes up in him and gives them some actually helpful information.
Which I thought was hilarious. Mainly because, so far, every time we've seen him he's fallen asleep and we've visibly seen him fall asleep. No, he's in the middle of doing something and Set just goes, "Nope, I'm doing
No,
this.
no,
Nope, my turn."
not happening. You guys want to get strong enough to defeat that monster from space? All right, here's what you do: go do my trials.
The thing they were told to go do last week.
Well,
That only two of them went to.
they
Which
couldn't have gone all at once. Like the Earth was in danger, though.
Well, I'll give them that because that was actually very intelligent. Because well, initially at the time it wasn't, but
But like, what
you,
if?
you
And
never know kind of thing. Is and it was a great idea. It backfired horribly because Ko got overconfident. I wish we would have seen more of some of the trials, though.
right, because like, cut to the trials, and Bamba and Toa are finishing up, and Bamba is up to like 5 eggs at this point,
Yeah,
at least.
the part that I wish that through both of these that they would have shown was because yes, he's at least made it up to 5. We have no idea how many times Toa had to restart.
Right.
All we get is he's worn out.
I want to say he probably didn't start over.
I'd say he may have at least once. Because I could see him almost getting hit and going "oh no" or something. Just off reaction. Because I don't see him doing it flawlessly when his brother couldn't. Albeit his brother's was a little bit harder.
Well, what about these other ones? So Melto is fucking
Set is a dick.
is fucking
Set's
hanging
an
from
asshole.
trapeze like like millions of feet in the air. Told like, hey, there's a single bridge. Find it or die.
And it's 2 feet below him.
Yeah, like,
The entire time.
After 2 days, Melto eventually finds it when he accidentally sweats on top of it.
Set's an asshole.
Asuna, meanwhile, has to catch a bug. A really fast one.
So basically, she has to Mr. Miyagi it.
But it's also a bug, and bugs are gross, because Asuna's a girl.
Which I hate that they keep pushing that type of shit, too.
I did not care for Asuna's challenge. It was like the most mild one.
Given the fact of it was, a test of speed, which would balance out with their,
right, at first I was super down for it, but then...
No, it's catch a fly.
Yeah, they
God
just...
damn it.
Like, Kanelo's was more interesting. It's like, alright, stay focused, build a house of cards, here's a bunch of beautiful women to distract you.
That was great. And also, I was curious about that one, per se, because, what was the constitute a house? Like that could have been built smaller, and it still would have
Oh,
technically counted.
I'm assuming that he had to use all of the cards on the table.
Okay, that'd be fair. Because my brain went when it ended. I'm like, that could have been smaller, and it still would have been a house.
Uh,
But yeah, I liked his a little bit better,
and
especially
and
the point
again,
when Set took over,
and Kanalo finished around the same time as Melto and Asuna, which means it took him 2 days to do that.
which is it's Kanalo, so that it explains a lot. He spent 2 days trying to get a fake wife.
And Ko's challenge, nothing. Figure that out.
Like I understood that. The
Yeah,
idea of that one is if you don't realize why there's no trial, then you've got a bigger problem.
right. Like they explain it well too. It's like, hey, if you think that you've peaked, then why are you here? If you don't think you have a weakness, then we can't work on that. We can't challenge you on it.
And I'm not happy with how it ended up playing out, which was quite literally, oh, find the one weakness in your attack. Like
Well,
it had, to me that had nothing to do with him
it,
beyond understanding the power.
so it did actually because his weakness that he needed to prove that he needed to overcome was he assumed that Max Soul was perfect and that he couldn't lose with it, which why he had that problem of I lost with it. I don't know what I'm supposed to improve on. It's not perfect. It is a flawed armor, and he had to acknowledge that. He had to find the weakness, which is that
Yeah, that
it
makes
burns up
sense.
so much fucking energy to use it, it has a cooldown.
Which that does make sense. It's like, and it to me it just seemed really jarring to go from figure out where your weakness is to even have the trial, and then it was just yeah, just figure out where the weakness is in your attack.
That was his trial. He had to learn
Like
his own weakness. The whole
right,
reason
like
he
with
didn't
with
have a
you,
he
like
didn't have a trial at first because he didn't think he had a weakness, and that was his problem.
right, like with you explaining it, it makes sense. But to me, just like watching it, it to me it went from figure out your weakness, which was you know his overconfidence and him thinking he had peaked, to here's a weakness, you've beat the trial. Like it to me it was very jarring. It didn't seem to transition very well. Everything you said is entirely accurate.
Right, like Master Red comes in with the armor to like show him like, hey, you still don't get it. Uh, like yeah, Ko had to figure because like Ko's trial itself was figuring out his weakness and overcoming it.
Right. Though I will point out one thing that I really enjoyed about this was when they all showed up to take the trial and Toa and Bamba are waiting for them. They're eating eggs.
Pamba got to keep
Bamba
the
took
eggs.
Bamba got to keep the eggs and they cooked them and they were eating them.
I mean, they were in there for at least a day.
Like I half expected him to go, "We had five. Here's the other three." Sorry, Kanalo, you're six, and I didn't have to do this 6 times. Go find a wife.
So we get the big rematch against Precious. Uh, any thoughts on the fight with just like the five of them before Ko returns?
I liked honestly I liked the way they did the fight to start with. The more working as a team and rely on certain things that they had learned, which made their attacks more effective. Not really any more damaging because it's still precious, but enough that they didn't just get wiped immediately. And it was actually kind of fun to watch. I'm the only question I have is this is something they obviously need Max for Your Soul Red. Why is nobody else using any of the other power ups?
That's a good question.
Because we have at least three beyond their base ones. Because we have Kanalo's Thunder, we have Banba using um
Marisol.
Marisol, and then Melto or any of the other three using freaking Takigaru. And none of them use any of them. I'm like, to me, that's dumb. To me, my brain goes, you didn't learn shit. Which I get it was more kind of, waste, drag it out until Ko showed back up. But my brain says power ups would have helped that.
Yeah. Maybe they were in the wash.
Eh,
Uh, uh,
God damn it, Set.
um, so Ko shows up to use what he's learned, which is, hey, let my opponent blow their load first, and then while they're on cooldown, I go in for the kill.
Which actually is a very good tactic. Which to be fair should have been something he learned a long time ago, because that's a very key strategy when it comes to
Right.
fighting.
You don't need to overpower them, you just need to outlast them.
Outlast, right? It's like, and that's a like even just in standard, like boxing and stuff. Like that's a very standard tactic you get taught. Let your opponent wear herself out. Dodge. He'll get tired. He'll fuck up. Like it's fighting 101. Which I guess Ko was playing hooky that day at the lake or at the river with Asuna. But the one thing I liked about it was the building fight to that, where especially when Ko uses the claw to swing around Precious. Meh. Simple tactics that should have been known a long time ago. Just
Still,
yeah.
Precious is a very sore loser and calls in the Space Minosaur to crush everything because, hey,
Oh, by the way, it's been 3 days.
yeah, this is still happening. So, the Ryusoulgers resort to calling on the greatest power of the Kishiryu by combining a land, sea, and sky Kishiryu together. They form Tenzo Gatai Gosei Great.
I mean, they're just lazier. Fuck. At least this time I got the joke the moment you said it. Like, one, this mech could have been a lot better.
Yeah, it's actually King Kishiryu O. You know, from the Department of
Which,
Redundancy Department.
yes, or anybody who's ever named the giant mega mech. In terms of the all together mech, which I swear if this is the all together mech, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I would prefer that stupid ass capsule one from fucking Q Ranger over this being the all together mech, because kind of forgets what the all together part of it means. and then the fact that there's only two pilots.
Yeah, we do get
I
a
mean,
good.
it does look nice. I could have done without the, I'm Quicksilver speed effects, because to me that just looked like shit and redundant and, you know, just done over and over. But the individual section of the fight was just did look awesome. Especially the rider kick. And that's all I'm ever gonna call that is the rider kick.
And we do get a good moment because this power is so great, it could destroy like half the world. Like you could destroy the people you're trying to protect. So the Kishiryu kind of became afraid of it, and Monster X fucking abandoned it. So for them to pull it off here, Monster Rex acknowledges the Land Ryosou tribe, saying, "I have decided to trust your generation. Like I've just decided to trust the new Ryusoul tribe."
Which honestly, it was a great moment, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it. It's like, but I wish there would have been a little bit more of a conversation about it.
A little more build up to it, yeah, because it was
Right.
introduced and resolved in this episode.
Like, not even that is like because the whole big thing was, he didn't trust the land tribe, Monster Rex himself,
What changed
and
his
then it
mind?
exactly I mean, we get what changed his mind because we as an audience can kind of piece that together. Just the way they've been working together and all of this is like, okay, cool, fine. But there's like nothing brought up about it involving Monster Rex beyond the fact of him telling Kanalo that he's not going to push his prejudices on Kanalo. Like, that's about all of the resolution we get to any of this beyond today's episode, where he goes, yeah, fine, I'll help. When he shows up as Spine Raptor or whatever the hell that mutant
Yeah,
disturbing looking thing is,
Spino Thunder.
which we haven't seen since episode 17.
It's a
And
lot of CGI.
I am grateful that we have not seen it because it's like the thing. It's like shit of fucking nightmares.
So King Kishiryu's finisher involves summoning all the other mechs in orbit around it to fire a giant rainbow laser. We celebrate at the Elder's new restaurant where Oto made everyone drinks and made Melto a special one that Kanalo gets upset over.
Which I again, I understand the whole age thing there because she's like 100 and some odd years old,
Yeah.
but it's just disturbing to physically see.
Yeah, they're dating. like, like that's just a thing that's happening.
And she looks like a 12-year-old, which is even more makes it the most disturbing aspect of this show to me.
The thing though with this, because like we've seen before that Kanalo being protective of her isn't okay seeing her dating anyone, but in this particular scene, I was having trouble telling if he was like overreacting, trying to be protective of her, or if he actually just wanted the bigger drink.
Yeah, I think he just wanted the more frou drink. I think that's really all it was. Because that was his entire argument. No, I want that. To the point where he takes it from Melto.
And everyone is happily like sharing their drinks around the table. Taiyo san san harechate.
See, this has been a better switch to the ending song than any
Right.
of the last couple of episodes.
Right, it's finally appropriate.
Because the audience isn't almost in tears or going, what the fuck?
Right? Like, just
like it ended on a happy note and transitioned to a happy song. Like this is like where I would be happy if they did the ending song thing that they did with XA with the openings and where they just dropped it for a few episodes. I would have been fine with, because it was such a jarring shift.
So,
Like altogether, it was a fun episode. All together.
yeah, I enjoyed
I
it.
w- I did half expect fucking Precious to literally be dead,
Uh,
which would have been weird that a general, literally an actual general, showed up and got destroyed in the first, their first appearance. Albeit second episode, but whatever. But I do like the fact they're still around. I did like the fact of Wizuru and Crayon just fucking off this episode.
right.
Instead
Like,
of doing what Precious wanted, they're
hey,
fucking
Wizuru,
watching
shouldn't
TV.
shouldn't you be doing what Precious said because she has your heart and all? Nah,
This is more fun.
it's fine. I'll figure it out later.
Which is very much a Wizuru thing to do. And Crayon just kind of going, oh, okay. Like that confused but going along with it. like, and it's like these type of episodes where like Crayon's only in it for a very small amount of time. That I'm like, I miss Crayon. Because every time Crayon shows up, it's kind of fun. Especially when he's, setting off confetti cannons.
Uh, so, next episode preview, Toa has a girlfriend.
He beat Kanalo.
Yeah. Everyone's beating Kanalo, it seems.
To give Kanalo credit, he had the choice of having a
He
girlfriend.
almost got one.
Like if he would have given up fighting, it was on lock. That's all he had to
But
do is just give up the fighting, which is understandable why he didn't and why it was a possibility.
right at this current time, like it was not a good idea to give it up. It was not viable.
So far we've got at least two Sentai members who, have girlfriends. You know, Toa and Melto now.
Yep. Melto no dating. You're just gonna have to accept it.
God, I don't want to accept that. 'Cause like I said, like physically looking at it, no, wrong, bad. You're going to prison.
It's Japan, dude.
You're still going to prison. You're still not allowed to do that in Japan. Even they have age of consent laws. They may be lower than US, but they're not that low.
I can't.
Like,
I can't believe that they actually fucking did this though.
right, like, especially with like you get to the like, not to get too off topic with it, but like, how the internet's all up in arms. Don't loot the lolly dragon from Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. When it's age wise, it's exactly the same thing. Because lolly dragon's over 100 years old, still physically a child. It's like it's the same thing as like, and it just
Oh my god.
Japan is fucking weird.
I just typed this into Google Images and oh my god.
Yeah, it's bad. And the show kind of alludes to lolly dragon.
Okay. That's a thing that exists.
Japan is fucking weird. Nobody can argue that by any means. Japan is fucking weird. It, their excuse, I guess, is she's physically really 100. So I don't know. It's just weird, and it's just weird to see, especially in a kid show. Which I kind of hope they don't harp on it too much.
Eh, I'm sure it's fine.
But other than that, the show's great.
All right. Well, now that that's in my search history, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Uh, I'll see you tomorrow if I'm not in jail.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll be back here tomorrow, so long as Rye doesn't get the
No, no,
FBI knocking
there,
at his door for what he's web searching.
no. That was actually very clean. Uh, yeah, we'll be
Good
back.
job.
We'll be back tomorrow for more Kamen Rider Zero One. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you back next week tomorrow. Wow, I'm all fucked up at the end of this. We'll be back tomorrow for Kamen Rider 01 and next week for Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. Thank you all for listening.